Dota 2 together.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Starladder coverage. We're here with the North American tiebreaker. We had 4 teams ready to duke it out for the final slot in the top 4 to move into the playoffs, but we've already had one drop before the match has already started. Osiris did forfeit, unfortunately. I don't know exactly what their problem was, but they are going to drop out of the group. So we've had a change of schedule, and I will be joined by Hippie for the first game. Chris, are you with me, buddy?
I'm good. Can you hear me? Am I coming through strong?
Oh yeah, you're coming through strong for sure. Actually, let me turn you down just a little bit there. But yeah, so our schedule's a little bit different today. Our first game will be CNB versus Team eHug, and with Osiris gone, that makes things a little bit easier. And we may only have one day of matches. We're gonna have a mini round robin with these 3 teams, and as long as it's not all tied up 1-1-1-1, then well, we'll have our winner crowned. So. Boy, a little bit sad to see Osiris tapping out already. I'm really not sure what the issue was, but I guess they just felt that they didn't have a good chance and wasn't a good use of their time. I don't know.
I would gamble there's a little more to it than that. I think at least my opinion when I was playing amateur is I wouldn't care if we're slated to lose a game or whatever. Some of my most memorable experiences are getting completely crushed by people who went on to be top players. I got to mid against B-Diz once years ago and got absolutely destroyed. It was a good time.
Yeah, well, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. Sometimes there's something to be said by just getting in the arena with these top-tier teams. It's valuable practice, and either way, I'm just disappointed we're going to have less matches. Well, maybe so. With a 3-group round robin, I feel like there is at least decent potential for this to be just one apiece all around, and we'll have to have more matches coming up tomorrow. But for now, we've got CNB versus eHug to get things kicked off, and since most of y'all have messed up schedules, what's on Join Dota and all the other calendars out there, they might not have updated yet. After this, it will be eHug versus Liquid, and then our third game will be Liquid versus CNB. And like I said, Chris will be joining me for Game 1, and then I think PPD will be joining me for the next 2 games once EG is finished playing with Liquid, as Liquid will be in our second game anyhow. So, Chris, what do you say we hop into the draft here, huh?
Sounds good to me, man.
And yes, here we are. Making sure my overlays are set up properly. Yes, indeed. So CNB, they will be on our dire side, and they will have Ned drafting for him today. Ned Bone, as he is on our overlay. And Pandago will be drafting for Team eHug here on our Radiant side. It was a first pick Bat Rider from Team eHug. Nick's Doom snagged, and then they went ahead and grabbed themselves an Ancient Apparition on the eHug side of things.
So I actually really like the Wisp ban that just came out of eHug. I actually did a CNB game very, very recently for the JDL America. And so basically the way they use the Wisp, they didn't pick a specific Wisp partner. I think it was like Wisp, Venge, Bat Rider, Invoker, and then an Anti-Mage carry. And so, you know, none of those are traditional, oh, you put a Wisp with this, and it's really strong, and it dominates the entire game, but every single one of those heroes was able to utilize the Wisp either for ganks or for counter initiation pretty much at any time. So no matter where he was on the map, no matter who was near him, he could be off getting farm somewhere else. He could always tether to someone and bring someone very critical into a fight, and it actually ended up being very, very successful against, they were playing SNA +4.
Okay.
So I got a lot of respect for their Wisp, and so that eHug obviously does as well.
Yeah, I guess that makes it a smart ban. CNB has been a weird team. When we first saw them, they seemed to be in disarray the very first day of Starladder America, and it seems every match they've played in Starladder, they've performed better and better, and they kind of went into recovery mode almost, where they started off really poorly, and now here they are fighting for a slot in the 4th seed of this tournament. So a team that initially I kind of was like, I don't know if they're really taking this that seriously, have really turned around, and they've given us some pretty interesting plays. So I have some high hopes here. I've got high hopes for eHug as well. Justin is on their team now. I guess I should fix that. It hasn't been updated in the Starladder database. Ryu Borez is officially off the team. We talked about the news in the studio, and Justin is here in his stead. And For a player that we haven't really seen, and I've asked a couple of people, I asked Fear the other day when I got to castle them, do you know anything about Justin? Have you ever even heard of this guy? And pretty much collectively, people have said, no, not really. And for someone who hasn't really made a big name for himself in the scene, he's put up some decent plays the few times I've been able to cast him on eHug.
Yeah, I think he gels really well with the team, which is pretty critical. I mean, especially when you're late in seasons like this, Starladder, we're sitting at the tiebreakers. They pretty much just made this shift. One of the most important things they can find is somebody who not only will be a good enough player, but somebody who's not going to have problems fitting in because he has to immediately slide into these kind of high pressure, high tier games and not have interpersonal problems, not have, problems of leadership, not have, a crisis of drafting or anything like that. And he seems to be fitting in perfectly with eHug.
Yep, I definitely agree with you on that front. So let's look at this CNB roster a little bit. They did grab Centaur with their 4th pick after 3rd picking Disruptor, and they have kind of an interesting draft here. Very melee heavy, an obvious strength core lineup with the Centaur and the Doom. And to me, that screams Timber Saw. The problem is, I'm not sure if eHug can really work a Timber Saw in too easily. It kind of depends what they want to do with this Bat Rider. Do you know about eHug, Bat Rider? Are they an offlane Bat Rider kind of team, or is this potentially
pretty much everyone's an offlane Bat Rider right now?
Yeah,
so I would guess that it's going to be offlane.
We've seen him mid a handful of times. It's definitely not very frequent, but possibly. I mean, I guess Timbersaw can go mid as well. Still kind of curious.
I think it's going to be a Cakes Bat.
Yeah, Cakes Bat. Yeah, and yeah. I feel like Cakes' playstyle really fits Bat Rider. He is a pretty good Bat Rider. He's not bad at being in the right place at the right time. He's decent with the rotation, moving into the jungle at the right time, getting a well-timed blink. I will say I am not a fan of Cakes' Clockwork. So anytime that they can get him a Bat Rider instead of Clock, that's a good move as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. I mean, although at the same time, Clockwork is such a critical hero in the meta right now, you have to be willing and able to pick him up and kind of be willing to say, okay, we know he may not be our number 1 offlane pick, but we have to be able to use him when the draft calls for him. And honestly, I would not like a Timbersaw in this draft because I think between the Disruptor, the Doom, and the Nyx, there's too many ways to screw him over. Glimpse him back into a bad Static Storm could put him in a lot of trouble. Glimpse him back into a Doom. The stun, the mana burn from the Nyx Assassin, the Carapace being a free stun whenever the Chakram is thrown out. Just in general, I think it would be a very troublesome draft for a Timbersaw, in spite of the fact that he'd be strong against the cores.
Yeah. You're definitely right about that. And Spectre will achieve sort of a similar front, but a bit easier. Not that free Carapace stun that you were talking about, and maybe a little bit tankier, perhaps. I like the spec pick here. And Ancient Apparition, Shadow Shaman. This is a pretty strong support duo as well. We've seen it kind of at an increasing frequency, these two paired together. It's particularly potent on the Dire side with Shadow Shaman and those wards inside of the Roche Pit, but I like these two together because they really complement each other. Ancient Apparition is a great turtler, Shadow Shaman is a great pusher, and he can turtle fairly well with the ultimate, but Shadow Shaman, he's got burst damage and 2 crowd controls, and Ancient Apparition, he does a lot of damage, but he kind of lacks those hard stuns, hard disables, so I think just together they're a match made in heaven.
Yeah, they work very well as a roaming pair, too, because you have the Shadow Shaman to set up the Cold Feet, because you have the Shadow Shaman to let people put in all that Chilling Touch damage. And if you land an Ice Blast, even if AA isn't precisely right there at the fight, Ice Blast into Ether Shock, when you get the extra levels into Ether Shock, can be completely devastating. It's a lot of damage. 320 to 7 targets. People underestimate that thing sometimes. And then, of course, the combined team fight power of the Ice Blast and the Mass Serpent wards. And honestly, the Spectre Haunt, this is going to be a very, very hard lineup to push into. And they also have not only the Bat Rider Firefly, but just the pickoff potential. Although I like that Slark pick because there's a carry that can push into the Bat Rider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. The only thing I worry about for CNB is this very melee-heavy lineup, although I think they'll struggle a little bit in the laning phase, especially with that Ancient Apparition, the Chilling Touch, like you mentioned. Just works well on ranged heroes, and if they can survive the laning phase and make it into that mid-game with all these gankers, eHug will definitely have their work cut out for them. With the exception of Spectre, they've got a pretty squishy lineup with those first 3 intelligent picks. I think the 5th bans from both sides make a lot of sense here. Visage could have worked for CNB. Having that Nyx first pick, a nice flex pick, they could have used him as a support here, as they chose to, or they could have grabbed a Visage and then just gone ahead and put Nyx in the off lane. So that's probably the value of grabbing like a Nyx Doom with your first 2 picks. Both of those heroes can play an array of different roles, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to read how they want their draft to unfold, but wow, Jiggle Billy going to be playing on the Axe.
That Axe can't he has to be going mid still. There's no way they're throwing a Spectre mid. So you'd think that maybe they're just doing a switch up between Jiggle Billy and Justin. Maybe Jiggle Billy is the Axe specialist
Yep.
in this lineup, or maybe it's possible that with Ryugon they're experimenting with running with switching the 1 and the 2. It's not a completely crazy role switch to have. 1, 2, and 3 can be moderately interchangeable depending
Yep.
on the skills and the mindset of the players.
Very true. And, well, let's not read too far into it. Perhaps they'll swap once we get into the game here as we do load in. But no, it appears Justin will be on Spectre. He'll buy some items, so very interesting. I'm not even going to guess at where these lanes are going to go. We'll just wait until the players get there. But, guys, again, to reiterate, as some more viewers have been joining us, this is game 1 of 3 today. We are in the North American tiebreak. 3 teams going at it for that 4th and final slot in the top 4 of the 8 teams that were originally in Starladder Season 8 for America. And of those 8, 4 move into playoffs. So these 3 teams in the little mini round robin today will be fighting for a spot in that 4-team playoff tournament. So this is a pretty weird day of games. Osiris was originally scheduled to be part of it, but they did forfeit, so we had to change the format a little bit, and that's why you may see some of the schedules out there that have yet to be updated. This is breaking news, happened about an hour ago that they forfeited right before the matches were supposed to start today. So, again, if you're confused as to why it's eHug versus CNB and not Osiris as originally planned, there you go. Hopefully you can clue in the other viewers that will be joining us here as this game gets underway. So it appears they will be doing a tri-lane with the Spectre, and like you pointed out, that means it will be a Jiggle Billy Axe headed to the mid lane. Cakes will be on the Bat Rider up top. We'll have I'm a Sheep on the Ancient Apparition down here in the bottom for the safe lane try. Pandego on the Shadow Shaman, and yep, there's Justin on the Spectre. Very interesting.
I'm worried for this Centaur. I mean, usually you think that a lane with Spectre in it isn't amazingly deadly, but Ancient Apparition makes anyone a huge damage hero at the start of the game. The Shadow Shaman can hold him down very effectively, and just the Spectre Dagger. Honestly, the slow, I mean, it's only a little bit, but it'll keep you in range for a couple of those extra Chilling Touch auto attacks. Make sure you get the whole thing off. And as tanky as Centaur is, you get a whole thing of Chilling Touch off from 3 heroes. Any hero in the game is dead. Unless they have a blink, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And on the Dire side, we'll have Team CNB, our South American team here. We'll have Tavo playing on that offlane Centaur. As Hippie just mentioned, he'll be in the offlane, and he'll certainly have his work cut out for him. We'll have Ned playing on the Disruptor here as he drops a ward and rotates towards the mid lane. And in the mid, it will be Klotz playing on the solo mid Doom. Up top, King RD on the Nyx Assassin, and they will be supporting this Position 1 Slark played by 4DR. And apparently he still hearts Fabiani, so that's good news as well.
Those two are a match made in heaven. I have no idea who Fabiani is, but I know 4DR has hearted him, her for so long that it can't be anything else.
Very true, and it looks like they'll actually take a little bit of a ward victory here. Pandego, he'll throw down a sentry, and he'll counter this Observer that CNB have already put down. Axe actually taking a little bit of harassment in the mid lane as things get out the gate here. Disruptor with a double damage and a level 1 Thunder Strike will harass back Jiggle Billy just a little bit. And speaking of harassment, Centaur down bottom. He's taking some Chilling Touch auto attacks from Sheep, but he'll give it right back to him. Takes the AA a little bit low. In comes the dagger from Justin, and Centaur will be forced to back out. And it looks like they also did get another ward kill as well. Pandego threw down a sentry, and oh no, this Observer will go down in range of the sentry. So Ned, that is just unfortunate.
Yeah,
Both
just barely, too. That's a well-placed sentry.
Yep. So I think he killed a sentry with this sentry to start things off, and then he's now countered both of the original Observers. So eHug are off to a really good start. If you look at the vision, right now the Dire have absolutely no wards down on the map. The Radiant have 2 down, 1 at the bottom rune, and then they've got this one up top to give some vision into the creep pole area. So eHug will at least have an easy time for the next 6 minutes or so until more wards become available.
Well, that's reasonably big, It secures your Spectre, pretty solid farm for the first few minutes, because if you're worried about where the supports are hanging out, where they could be, because you can't see them, you don't have the wards up, you don't have the blocks, obviously the supports will have a little bit more experience, but you also always have to worry if you want to make some kind of early rotation, if you want to put the pressure on the Spectre. Are the supports there, or are they just hiding in the woods? Are they maybe rotating somewhere else? Do we have to stay pinned down to make sure our Slark isn't getting ganked? There's a lot of concerns that have to go on because there's so much darkness on the map for them that just the mental side of it will secure that Spectre free farm, not even the hero positioning.
Yep. Definitely right about that. And I think eHug would be well advised to use this Shadow Shaman and rotate around. When I last casted eHug, I believe it was against Liquid, Pandego did a really good job on Shadow Shaman with early smokes, rotating pardon me, into the mid lane. He did some interesting wraparounds. They were on Radiant's side, and he like smoked into the dire jungle, then came around from the backside to gank the mid. And I think he'll be well advised to do that to get Jigglebilly a little bit of momentum. He should be able to fare well against Doom, but Disruptor has already rotated into the lane twice. Jigglebilly's still ahead on CS, just barely, 7-1 versus the 5-2 Doom. But I think if they could harass this Doom a little bit, Pandego could certainly set up a kill or two. And especially if they can do it before Doom hits 6, oh boy, that's it's a recipe for a rough time. And Doom actually didn't start in the jungle. Usually when we see a solo mid Doom, one of the supports holds the lane for maybe the first level. Doom moves into the jungle and grabs either a Satyr or a Satyr, however you want to say it, or a Wild Wing Ripper, something that can give him an aura, help him out a little bit. Even that Ice Ogre isn't so bad, but here we see Doom just with the empty belly, and frankly, that's a little bit surprising.
Yeah, maybe his supports are just going to try to stack up the close big camp until it gets a creep he actually wants. Obviously, the Centaur isn't bad. It gives you the attack speed aura, but the War Stomp really is just too much mana to be that useful early on for Doom.
Right.
So I could see them stacking, obviously, for the Wild Wing or the Satyr. It gives you so much lane stability, especially against the Axe, who's largely dealing with physical damage with the counter helix. But I think the big story of middle lane right now is look at Klotz's regen. All he's got left is one shared Tango. I'm not sure if he just got... It looks like he went in... pretty cheap, so he probably just got pooled a couple of shared tangos, and he does have the bottle coming out, but that's still not a lot to deal with an Axe. Axe's harass against a melee hero is insane.
Yep.
With just the kind of free poor man's taunt that you get just by right-clicking the enemy hero. When you have a stout shield, when you have plenty of regen to deal with a couple of creep hits, just a couple of helixes makes every single creep hit worth it. And that Doom, I really feel like is going to have a miserable time if he doesn't get some support.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a good read from eHug to grab Axe as their final pick, and that was what I pointed out was 4 melee heroes and a Disruptor. You pretty much know it won't be Disruptor solo mid, and anytime Axe is in a solo lane against a melee hero, he usually has a pretty good time. And the strategy is, well, if your opponent gets up towards the creep wave, you just right-click him, you pull that creep aggro, you get a couple counter helixes, and all of a sudden they're harassed back, and if you get a lucky batch of RNG, a couple helixes in a row, then you can do a surprising amount of burst damage. And then once they're zoned out of the lane, you can use that battle hunger to harass them, and they can't get near the creeps to last hit. So they're just completely zoned out, and it's not a bad strategy, not that difficult to execute either. And against Doom, it's even better because counter helix is physical damage. We know how bad Doom's starting armor is. He did grab that early ring of protection to give him a little boost, but Axe is just a really well-equipped hero to deal with the low starting armor of Doom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might see a rotation or two under Doom, but I think Axe also has decent solo kill potential just with that good RNG. I always think, you don't want to rely strictly on RNG for kills, but I've seen it too many times, man, especially from Revenge. Whenever Smash plays Axe, I swear he gets spins like Bulldog gets roots. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Slark here having some issues. 4DR. Apparently Fabiani is his girlfriend. That's what somebody says in chat. Or that's what Coddle Guy said in chat. Not somebody. It's Coddle Guy.
It's not anybody.
It's not anybody. It's somebody. He is the Coddle Guy. I saw a Coddle game earlier today. Was it... Oh, it was the Alliance Na'Vi series. Yeah, PL Coddle. There's a reason people don't pick that shit anymore. It was rough. Whew. They got massacred in that game. That was harsh.
Oh, man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Coddle has a very niche place in the game. I think you can still... You need a lineup kind of like... how I was just mentioning, CNB runs the Wisp with a very map mobility heavy lineup where the map mobility enables them to take advantage of a lot of things. You need to be able to take advantage of the recall more than anything else on Coddle. I think they think about, okay, he's got good turtling power. They think about, okay, you've got the mana. It's really nice to have. But... And while you want to have a lineup that is obviously useful with those things, if you can't abuse recall like crazy, there's going to be a support who's more valuable for you.
Yeah, and I actually tweeted something about, like, there's a reason... This is the reason why this combo has really died off. It just doesn't fit this current meta.
Nerfed into the ground.
Yeah, and somebody tweeted back, like, yeah, well, I think PL is still a little viable, but Coddle's just terrible. And I was like, honestly, I feel the opposite. I think of the two, if I had to draft one of them, I would much rather draft the Coddle. At least he has, like, a positioning tool. He can turtle up well with Illuminate. He can create space. PL, like, he's just a Naga with shittier spells.
If I have to pick an illusion carry right now, you hit the nail on the head. I'm picking the Naga.
Yeah. I mean,
for as long as Terrorblade isn't in Captain's mode and I need to draft an illusion carry, I'm drafting the Naga.
Yeah, so it was interesting though. I always like to see stuff. And man, my Google Chrome, I'm telling you, my Chrome keeps crashing. It looks like or not Fabiani, 4DR will be coming back before too long here. At least that's what his team seems to indicate.
I had an entire game where I called him Fabiani, so you're not alone.
Well,
Someone corrected me in the YouTube comments. It's like it's 4DR. Fabiani's his girlfriend. I'm like, oh, oops.
this guy, he reads YouTube comments.
It's feedback, man. I gotta aim to please, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm guilty of reading some YouTube comments as well, but YouTube is one thing that I can very easily, sometimes I get a little caught up on Reddit or Twitch chat, but YouTube is one thing that I can just walk into and be like, okay, no one takes YouTube comments seriously. This is like
Yup. Yup.
the bottom of the barrel when it comes to feedback, and oh boy, I was just scrolling through the comments on that Merlini Tubb interview the other day.
Oh my God.
If you're in the mood for some good old-fashioned negativity, man, that's your golden ticket. That is, that shit was just cracking me up. I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah, wasn't there a big thing with Total Biscuit recently about negative YouTube comments? I think he had a very big thing.
Yeah, it was negativity in general. Total Biscuit is, I don't know, it seems he's just one that's not well suited to deal with the constant barrage of negativity that comes your way when you're an online icon. There was apparently there's a whole Total Biscuit subreddit that he started, and he's kind of notorious for deleting Reddit accounts because he'll go into a thread and just like pick out the most cynical, most angry people and then argue with them and insult them, and then afterwards he reads it and goes, "Oh, that's embarrassing," and then he deletes the Reddit account so people can't see it. And he's gone through like 50 of them or something, and he finally said, "You know what? I'm just going to stop going on my own subreddit. I can't handle this. It's really negatively impacting me." But the Total Biscuit example is a little bit different because there were some good examples of like threads that were like, when they were doing like Shoutcraft America, it's like 95% of the comments are like, "Wow, this is amazing. You're sponsoring this out of your own pocket." All this like, "Wow, you're really cool, Total Biscuit. I love you. You're amazing." And there's like two guys at the very bottom of this 200 comment thread that are just like, "Oh, you're a stupid fat idiot. Oh, kill yourself." And those were the ones that he replied to. And it's just like, TB, man. Like, there are always going to be like an outlier amount of people that are just like out to get you. They don't like you. You stepped on their family's roots one time. You said something they didn't like. Just ignore him, man. This thread is overwhelmingly positive, and he just goes right to the negativity. So I think for him, there's maybe a little more lurking beneath the surface than just, oh, mean internet. But oh boy, we're back in this game, Chris, after a long pause, and where were we? Oh yes, Jiggle Billy's playing Axe Mid. Right, now I remember.
I think I just said that because of the counter warding, Justin is likely to get some pretty solid free farm for the first 7 minutes until new wards come up.
Yes, yeah, that is absolutely what we were talking about. And Centaur's actually been doing okay down here. He's picked up 4 last hits in terms of creep score, and he gets about halfway through level 2, so not too shabby, about on par with Cakes. He's picked up 3 last hits and at a comparable amount of experience. So even though Spectre is getting pretty much free farm, they still haven't completely zoned out Tavo, though to be fair, he's burning through that regen pretty quick. He's already used the salve and only has 1 tango left.
Well, so you now have the level 2 Shadow Shaman ready to rotate. 5 experience. AA just hit level 2. This is their window if they want it. But, oh, Tavo backing up at just the right time.
Ooh,
You got the sense going.
Yeah.
And that's... I'm a Sheep even hid his level 2. Did you see him stand in the trees to make sure that he wouldn't notice the level 2 come up?
Yeah. Crafty little plays right there. But now they may do the wraparound as he pokes forward. Pandago's looking for the opening. But once again, Tavo just backs up. Great positioning here. And, ooh, Batrider. Cakes is already going to take a rotation. He'll leave the top lane, and he's going to move straight into the Radiant jungle here, and he's going to start going to work stacking this hard camp.
Yeah, not that unusual to just try to get the level 2. It's so much easier to do this stacking once you have both the Napalm and the Firefly. Just doing it with the Firefly, it's they don't die quick enough to make it that efficient.
Yeah. So he will get that first stack. He'll get a Dark Troll Summoner. Maybe he'll start stacking this other camp as well, and we'll see that Batrider work as he moves through the trees. Not a bad option, though. He wasn't really doing too much up top. He wasn't experience range, wasn't stopping 4DR from farming on the Slark, so not a bad idea to just move into the jungle and work on that blink timing. Looks like we could see a rotation in the mid lane as Ned on the Disruptor rotates his way over. Jiggle Billy maybe in trouble. There is Glimpse and Thunder Strike. No kinetic field quite yet, but nope, just coming in to harass, and Jiggle Billy will keep on keeping on with these last hits. And wow, Pandago will actually rotate to the top lane on this Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Against a Nyx Slark, that's very dangerous. That's a pair that could very easily bring you down, especially when they're already above you in levels. You have a level 4 Slark and a level 3 Nyx.
Yeah.
Pandago's gonna have to be very, very careful with his positioning. I would feel more confident if he had a ward he could throw down to give himself jungle vision, but that's just not present.
Yeah, and we see
Look, 40R already walking up.
Yeah, he's being very bold right here. As soon as he steps forward, 40R just posturing, ready to pounce, and of course Nyx is ready with the follow-up. So we'll see. Uh-oh, there's the initiation. Impale from the high ground. There's the pounce forward, and Pandago stuck inside of the leash. That's a first blood, exactly like we were worried about. And I'm really not sure what the plan was for Pandago there.
That was a really good stun, though, from King RD. Like, all the credit to him. He hit the very edge of it from the uphill, and that was perfectly ranged out.
Yeah, and wow, Pandago, he's feeling bold. He'll just go right back to it. Another shock onto 40R, but what's stopping them from just doing this rotation again? Shadow Shaman does have boots of speed already, but Slark has his, and Nyx, yeah, he's got his pair up as well. So Shadow Shaman a pretty low hero, or a pretty slow hero. If he had like a boot advantage, I could see this working a little better. But given that they've all been farming and everyone's got boots, he's still at a pretty big disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as long as he only gives up that one kill, he knew he wasn't going to get anything done in the bottom lane, right? Because Tavo's positioning was just too good. Tavo getting a stomp on I'm a Sheep, but
yeah.
I don't think anything's going to come of this.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have enough to secure the kill, and they might turn it around. Wow, that'll be a kill for Justin coming out. Tavo overstepping his bounds and just underestimating the amount of damage that a level 2 Chilling Touch can put out. Easy kill for the Spectre, and, well, hello phase boots for Justin.
Tavo making a liar of me, man. I just said, oh, his positioning is so good. He's playing so carefully. Whoops, I guess I better go in and die. Gotta make Hippie look stupid. That's their primary goal right here. Make me look dumb.
Yeah, now, Jigglebilly has just been conquering this mid lane. He's 34 and 14, our last hit leader. Doom only 20 and 3, and he's now retreated into the jungle. He will devour the Mana Burn Creep, one of those small little, I don't know if they're satyrs, but they look pretty similar. And
they're satyrs, yeah.
Yeah, the satyrs. I always say satyr, and I don't think that's the right way to pronounce that word. Satyr.
It's not, but you know, you're a little quirky in a lot of ways.
Stick to my guns here. Yeah, I've already screwed the pooch. Might as well just commit to it.
You still say Aegis, even though Ice Frog told you not to?
Yeah, well, Aegis, I had to do it. Ice Frog sent LD a message, and he was like,
I heard about that.
Tell this dipshit that it's Aegis. Maybe Aegis is the right pronunciation, but this asshole is in Dota. It is Aegis. Goddammit. And my only response was, well, if it's the decree of Ice Frog, who am I to argue? So I had to throw in the towel on that one. It is
Frog
Aegis.
We trust.
Yeah. Ice Frog is not someone I'm ready to go toe-to-toe with over something so trivial. But here we go. Invisibility rune onto Jigglebilly on that axe. He's level 7. Doom does have his ultimate online, but they might have the damage to take him down. Pandago is in the mid lane, as is Ned. And Jigglebilly, he's just posturing right now, looking for an opening. He's doing the math, pulling out that calculator, thinking, can I solo this Disruptor? And maybe he thinks he can. There's the Berserker's Call. Courier coming in as well. That's a dead Courier. He'll use the Cull on it, and they'll still get the kill on Ned as well as the Shackle comes in. What a huge victory for eHug there in the mid lane. Wow.
Man, people always forget that you can call that Courier. Did they get it? All right, so they got, not a lot. They got the wand pieces for Clots in the recipe, a couple of TPs, so a decent amount of gold on there for that Doom.
Yep.
Looks like about 500 to 700 gold, which, you know, isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, but at 7 minutes, that's significant enough. It's a couple minutes worth of farm.
Yeah, still just, I mean, unlucky for the Disruptor, and I would really hesitate to even call that a misplay with the Courier. Axe was invisible, and it was just coming in at the...
Oh, I would. It was supposed to be going to Doom.
Oh, yeah.
It's all of Doom stuff on there. Disruptor didn't have anything to do with that.
Are you sure Disruptor didn't? I think he got boots off of it.
Maybe he did. Okay, that's possible. Okay, yeah, he just got those. He's low on money. You're probably right. They got him before he got all the Doom stuff there.
Yeah, pretty sure it was delivered. So it was just one of those perfect timing, maybe a small stroke of luck going the way of Jigglebilly. But eHug will profit. And now all of a sudden they've got a nice 2,000 gold lead and about a 2,500 experience lead as well. Jigglebilly will stack the Radiant Ancients here. And we've got a smoke from CNB. There's a double damage rune that'll spawn. Nyx Assassin will pick it up, and they will venture forward looking for a gank. Maybe they'll grab the Radiant Courier here. Nope, we'll fly over the tree line, but kind of a close call. Nyx is not level 6. So, of course, no Vendetta online. Justin will be the target of choice. And, oh no, he doesn't have a Spectral Dagger. He just spent his money, so even if they kill him here, it won't be the end of the world. Impale off the mark, but doesn't matter. They've got plenty of damage, and Tavo will give him the double edge to finish him off.
Yeah, as you mentioned, though, he just spent his money, and he's now sitting on phased drums at 8.5 minutes. So, I mean,
not bad.
It's a nice build for him. It lets him use the Haunt illusions to a certain extent and kind of engage if he needs to, which is very nice off of like maybe a big AA ultimate, especially because AA is about to be 6, so you want to have this available. You want to have the Haunt being at some level of decent strength, so you can capitalize on decent AA ultimate. Oh, mid lane.
Yeah, Jigglebilly in some trouble, and oh, if Doom didn't have that ultimate, I don't know. Axe might have been able to grab an RNG kill there with the counter helix. It will be a 3v1, and Jigglebilly will eventually fall. Disruptor making that whole thing possible. But they burn the Doom ultimate, so one of those, yeah, they get the kill on Axe, definitely not bad, but uh-oh, AA ultimate will connect with Slark. See you later, 4DR. Well played by Sheep, and there you go. That's a nice recovery. The mid-hero for eHug in exchange for the position 1 of CNB.
Yeah, and Sheep now sitting at level 7. I mean, I said he was just about to get that Ice Blast. He got it just in time to take advantage. Very, very well played. I still like where the Spectre is sitting, though, although she might be getting gone on again with the Vendetta.
Yep.
He has mana for 1 stun.
And it's off the mark. Justin will survive. That's unfortunate. Big misplay from the Knicks. But, oh, meanwhile in the mid, they'll converge on the Doom. There's a Shackle from the Rasta. That'll make things pretty easy. Cakes didn't even need to use the lasso. And the mid player of CNB will take a spill. Rasta wards come down. And I have a feeling this tier 1 tower in the mid is going to fall pretty quickly.
So I really, we were kind of questioning Pandago's choice to get to the top lane and maybe open himself up to vulnerability a little bit. But he only gave up the 1 death. He got a lot more experience than he would otherwise, and now he's already got these wards. So they're actually doing quite well.
Justin down bottom. Wow, they'll turn it around on the Centaur. The Stampede came out, but that AA ulti once again will secure the kill. Spectre falls to the Disruptor, but he's still not out of the clear quite yet. Sheep will finish him off. The Glimpse just not quite quick enough. And that will be a 2-for-1 down in the bottom lane. Yes, they lose their position 1 hero, but they finish off Centaur and Disruptor, and some more space was created to prevent that mid tower from getting denied. They did secure that kill. Shadow Shaman got the last hit with the ward. So still across the map, not a bad exchange for eHug, and their golden experience lead will further, now about 3,000 apiece.
Yeah, it is. If they can keep finding the space to pick off the Spectre, though, it is a big deal because this is basically a 1-core lineup.
Mid lane, Cakes maybe getting hyper-aggressive here. Fabiani, no, it's 4DR. He'll go ahead and use the ultimate, trying to pursue onto Jiggle. They'll grab the kill on the Nyx Assassin, and yep, they'll get the kill on 4DR as well. Ned comes in with a decent Static Storm and Kinetic Field. That secures the kill onto the Bat Rider. Justin, he's hungry for more of those. Got a Spectral Dagger coming up in 1 second. He might have been able to commit to that. The Doom ulti's been used. Jigglebilly, he's picked up a Blink Dagger, and they'll hop forward and finish off the Disruptor. 1-for-3 exchange here in the mid lane. And to get things kicked off, that was pretty lucky. Nyx Assassin was just about to initiate on the Bat Rider, but Cakes blinked forward right as he was about to strike with the Vendetta, and instead initiated on one of his buddies there. I think it was the Slark.
Yeah, there's a pretty big misplay from Klotz, too. You saw when they had the Static Storm on both the Bat Rider and the Spectre, he actually doomed the Bat just as he was dying. I think it was just a misclick. I don't think he actually intended to try to doom, the 100 HP Bat Rider who's stuck in a kinetic Static Storm.
Yeah, definitely.
But that meant that Justin could not only go back in, they couldn't get the kill on the Spectre, but Justin was able to pick up another kill with his Spectral Dagger. He's the one who got that Disruptor.
And Justin might not have even noticed, though, with all those graphics down, because he did back up, but we'll hold that thought as there's initiation down bottom. The tier 1 tower falls, Stampede forward, but Pandago with a beautiful Hex. They'll secure the kill on the Nyx Assassin, and they're fighting in the wards as well. This is just bad news for CNB. They get a counter kill onto the Shadow Shaman, but again, AA ultimate flies, connects with 4DR, and he's not out of the clear quite yet. His ultimate will fly, and nope, he is out of the clear. He is in the clear, I guess I should say, as his team does come in, but Jigglebilly, Invisibility Rune, he sees Ned. He's hungry for some Disruptor. And yep, there's the Spectral Dagger, the Berserker's Call. There is a Cull available, and this will be an easy kill, or will it? Well, still pretty easy. They get to save the ultimate from Axe, and maybe Jigglebilly will fall. Nice Static Storm Kinetic Field will at least make it a 1-for-1. So CNB find a recovery kill, but still, eHug get the tower and find the better of the exchange.
Yeah, with the tower, that's definitely what makes it a little bit better. It's nice that they got the axes. I mean, trading a Disruptor for an axe, totally cool, even though the kill went to Justin, who it looks like is going to be going for a Radiance next, and I really like that as well. I was talking about how effective it is to combo the Haunt nicely with the AA ultimate. I think this is definitely a Radiant Spectre game, and you want to accelerate her farm. Make sure that she doesn't get overtaken by the dual core of the Slark Doom too early, so she's able to just stand up in the late game and say, I don't care.
Klotz in the top lane. Cakes will blink forward with the lasso, and that'll secure an easy kill. Ancient Apparition again on point with the ultimate. Now support is coming in. Ned with the Kinetic Field will connect onto Cakes. The Slark pounce off the mark. and Cakes will walk back to safety. 4DR actually standing in the fire for way too long. He'll take a lot of damage, does use the ultimate. Pandago getting very bold right here. Again, he gets the Hex off onto the Nyx Assassin, who was vendetted, compliments of that Sentry Ward, and they secure the kill on Slark, and more importantly, their Shadow Shaman survives. Tavo almost going down, will use a defensive Stampede. He'll make it out as Jigglebilly blinks forward, but again, a 2-for-0, and eHug will be able to commandeer their 3rd tower kill of the match.
That taunt is just being so effective against the Shadow Dance from the Slark. So, you know, you've got 4 seconds with the Slark. If the Axe can get next to him, 3.2 of those are just nullified, because if you're attacking the 30 armor Axe, who cares if no one can do anything to stop you? And you're going to be causing spins all the while.
And wards come down from the roster right on top of the tower. This is going to be a big fight, though, as Jigglebilly, he blinks forward into the tower. Berserker's Call onto the Doom. Blink forward from Cakes as well. They'll finish off the Nyx Assassin with the Ancient Apparition. Kinetic Field comes out. Cakes will be in big trouble. There's kind of 2 fights breaking out now. Tavo will go in onto Sheep. Looks like they'll be able to get a kill on the Ancient Apparition. Cakes still alive, but not for long, and they will clean it up. That makes it a 1-for-2. And the wards will actually get killed by Tavo, so he gets a little gold boost here, and the tower will survive. eHug maybe getting a little overzealous there, overstaying their welcome, but still not too bad. A 2-for-1 exchange. Could have been a lot worse.
So what's really, really big for eHug, I feel like, right now, aside from the farm that's good on the Spectre, the Axe has been doing well. So you've got the 4 staff Blink already ready on the Batrider, 15 minutes, and he's level 11, so he's got the level 2 lasso. And you have the Ancient Apparition is level 11 with a Midas and 1,600 gold. So by maybe 20, 23 minutes, you're going to have Scepter out on this Ancient Apparition, most likely. Maybe a little later, like 25. It'll take him a bit to finish that up, but if they're giving him any sort of farming space, he'll have it within a decent amount of time. He's 3-1-3. He's getting plenty of kills going. So I'm really, really afraid that this Ancient Apparition ultimate plus the Spectre Radiance that are going to come up at, you know, kind of similar times is just going to crush this entire team. The supports won't be able to go anywhere, because if they get seen and hit by an AA ultimate, they could just die instantly.
Yep. I absolutely agree. This Ancient Apparition ultimate has already been doing a lot of work. He's now level 11, so it'll be that much more potent. There's that point booster. And this Hand of Midas Ancient Apparition, it's gotten a lot more popular, and it just makes sense. He's a hero that really benefits from experience, and obviously really benefits from that early farm. If he can get the Ag Scepter, even before level 16, it just ups the damage that it does so much, especially on all these squishy heroes. Now, there is a blink up on the Centaur, so that is a step in the right direction for CNB. Nyx will not be going for a blink first. He's going to have to settle for a 4 staff, it looks like, and he's still pretty poor. Ned will grab himself a Smoke and Deceit on the Disruptor, so perhaps CNB will get a little more aggressive here now that Centaur has blink. It's a step in the right direction, but I worry if it's actually going to be enough. They've already, I mean, they're not that far behind, only about 7,500 golden experience, and actually we'll dip down to about 5k experience following that team fight up top. There's the smoke, and they will make a rotation down bottom. It looks like Justin is in their sights, and
he's 100 gold from his relic. If they get him, this is huge.
Yep. We see pings coming out from Justin. I think they might be suspicious, and he'll just cut his way into the trees. With a lot of heroes missing off the map, he knows he's that high-value target, and he's about 75 gold away from the relic. Not a good time for him to get picked off. There will be a port coming to this tier 2 tower as well. It is Klotz. This is a 5-man rotation for Justin, and he's got a Haunt as well as a Dagger available. I'm not sure they're going to be able to find him. Nice heads-up play from the Spectre here, and ultimately I think this will just end as a tier 1 for tier 1 exchange as eHug do group up about the top lane.
Yeah, it's just such heads-up play from Justin. I mean, you can talk about, yes, I mean, players can look at the map, they can see, oh, there's a tree down, but that's such a minuscule thing to notice in the grand scheme of things, and it could have just been a tree that was eaten for regen. It's not always worth checking for something like that. Obviously, if you really want the kill on the Spectre, it's worth taking a look into, but now he's gone. He's TP'd to middle.
Yep.
Really, really good dodge, because that would have been a huge loss for him, and now he's got his relic.
Yep. And a little bit of extra gold to spare as the towers go down. Ancient Apparition ult will connect with a few down bottom. Doom has now picked up his mech. Not a bad choice. A lot of people don't like mech against the Ancient Apparition, but I actually don't think it's that bad. It's one of those things where, yeah, you can't use it while you have the AA ultimate on, but it doesn't last forever. There's always that window where the ultimate is on cooldown and it's already expired, so you can just mech up after that and get back to an acceptable level of hit points. And based on how aggressive this game has been, 14-9 in 18 minutes, I think a mech is definitely warranted. Roster wards will come down on the tier 2 in the top tower, and CNB getting in position to defend. Oh, there's the blink forward from Cakes. Lasso on to Tavo, the target that they want to initiate on. He's the one with the blink dagger, and now CNB will not be able to take this fight easily. Static Storm and Kinetic Field come out on just the Jiggle Billy, and they'll expire as this fight starts. Tier 2 towers fall, and Pandago will get doomed. He will fall. I'm a Sheep in trouble as well. Both supports of our eHug have already gone down. Now Cakes rejoining the fray here, and maybe getting a little bit too bold. He'll just run in by himself. Not sure exactly what the plan is, but there you go. There's the follow-up from Jiggle Billy. He'll get a double kill on Disruptor and Nyx as he does the double dunk, getting a lot of spins as well, but now he's in trouble. There's no escape plan, and it'll end as a 4 for 3, and of course they did get the tier 2 tower kill. So, believe it or not, kind of a break-even exchange. Cakes in particular, I'm not really sure why he walked in by himself. Maybe just a miscommunication, thinking Axe was a bit closer. But, yeah, I think Batrider definitely could have survived had he just not walked into the entire opposition.
On 40R, going in on Justin. He just picked up his Shadow Blade. He's going to get the Lasso and the Dark Pact, bring him down very, very quickly. That's the Shadow Blade reveal, and that is definitely a worthwhile one right there. He didn't quite... He was sitting maybe 100 gold away from his Radiance recipe, so they've slowed that down a little bit. Oh, the AA ult, though. That's going to hurt.
Yeah,
oh
the other shock.
Going to go down.
I think he's going to shatter. Yep, there you go. Ancient Apparition will get that bounty for ending the kill streak, and what a hero for it to go to. He's now strikingly close to that Ag Scepter. He's about 650 gold away, so you were talking about 25 minutes. I think it's going to be much faster than that following that kill. Wow.
Yeah, he's gotten some very good kills since I mentioned that. You know, he was 313 when I said it. He's now 424, and with that streak gold, and with the Midas kicking in. You know, I was trying to be generous, so I didn't kind of oversell it a little bit. Ooh, Cakes.
Yeah, he's in some trouble. Vendetta will be used. There's a Static Storm as well. No way the Batrider's surviving that one, and CNB will grab themselves a kill on the bat. Not too shabby, getting some more kills up on the board, but I still think CNB are in a lot of trouble here. The experience graph is starting to close. I worry about, one, once that Ags comes out, and also Shadow Shaman, he'll be level 11 before too long. That means level 2 Serpent Wards, they get that much more potent, towers will fall easier, and he's actually not too far off his Ag Scepter either, about 1,200 gold or so. It's more that Radiance that Justin is just about one creep kill away from. That's when things will get scary for CNB in these team fights.
Yeah, and there it is. He just bought the recipe. I do think the one saving grace CNB has is their Doom is leading net worth. Ooh.
See you later, Slark. That's just the damage of the axe right there. He even got glimpsed back, but still got a kind of a lucky spin right before he was ready to call and did secure the kill right before getting glimpsed back. So honestly, it did him more of a favor. He got the kill on Slark, then was instantly sent back to safety and just ran away. There was no chance for a follow-up kill. Unfortunate for the Disruptor, but that's the problem with going Shadow Blade on Slark. He does have drums and power tread, so he is tanky-ish, but still not enough to survive the wrath of the mighty axe.
Yeah, but I think you have to go for an aggressive build on Slark in this game. If you try to just build defensive and fight up against a Spectre, there's honestly a lot of heroes. I feel Slark is kind of underrated as a late gamer just because his anti-carry is so potent against single-core lineups. So generally, if I was looking at one carry on eHug and I saw Slark on the other team, I'd say, okay, as long as CNB takes this, you know, and doesn't fall behind, they'd be okay. But not when that carry is a Spectre. The Spectre is just devastating at every stage as soon as she has that Radiance.
Yeah.
That's, ooh, the Ag's up not only on AA, but also on Axe. It's done.
Yeah, so this is the game of Midas and also the game of Ags. There will be 3 Ag Scepters on eHug. They've already got 3 Blink Daggers and 2 Hand of Midas over there. One thing that is going the way of CNB is Doom has actually taken over the seat as the #1 farmer in terms of net worth. He's had that early Hand of Midas and, of course, using Devour, and both of them have really kicked in. He's now got BOTs and mech, but I worry about this itemization a little bit. He has a huge net worth, but he just doesn't have a really scary inventory. You have to remember, some of that is the Hand of Midas. Mech isn't too bad, but he just doesn't really hit that hard. He even has the Critical Strike and Pack Leader's Aura, still only hitting for about 150 a pop. I'm just not so sure about these early BOTs. Bots are never bad, but I don't know. I just don't know. He's not really that tanky either.
What the bots are really letting him do is not only can he be at every team fight that he needs to be in with the Doom, so he can always show up. It's never like, and the Doom is their only real big team fight ability. I just dropped.
I'm still in, so maybe just
reconnect
here. Looks like you got a bad connection to the server. Very unfortunate.
No problem.
And there's a pause coming out actually from Cakes, so perhaps one of the players having some issues. Yeah, looks like the players are reporting lag, or Cakes did. Looks like the server just had a hiccup. Hopefully you can reconnect though. The I think it's one of the Chinese casters actually disconnected as well.
So cool. I'll just stare at my new puck loading screen while I load back in.
Well, look at you, Mr. Big Shot.
Well, I opened up one of those fancy new chests and I got the puck set that I wanted, and it came with a loading screen. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, I always thought loading screens were a little bit stupid, but I bought that the newest Dazzle set a while ago, the one where it looks like he's got like a woolly mammoth on his back, and I bought it, and then next time I loaded it into a game, it was a giant Dazzle, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like
Yeah,
that. I'm into it. All right.
yeah.
Although I did it on the caster computer, and I was sitting next to LD, and I thought they did it as like a prank, and they changed it like here. I was like, LD, did you change this picture just for me? And he was like, what are you talking about? I have this habit of making an ass out of myself in front of LD, just being like, for me. He's just like, no, you're just an idiot. You bought that. So anyway, we are resumed back in this game, and well, CNB will get the tier 1 tower in the top lane, but eHug, they'll be on point with this tier 2 down bottom. Roster wards come out. And CNB getting in a position to try and make a hold, but eHug, they're ready for it. Cakes is in the trees, as is Pandago. I don't know that they'll get this tower. Maybe they will. The wards will... Oh, 2 hit points, just not enough. Oh, that hurts. I think they're going to deny this. Maybe not. Are you reconnected, by the way?
No, I'm working on it.
Oh, you're still working on it. Okay. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Cakes may come in and try and finish off this tower, actually. I can't believe they haven't denied it. And yeah, the crafty Bat Rider, he'll just grab that tower kill. That is some free money right there. That's the easiest deny CNB will find this side of the Mississippi. And whoa, Cakes, or pardon me, I'm a sheep. He's in some trouble. He'll get initiated upon by the Nyx, and Disruptor comes in, another Static Storm kinetic field. And even though I'm a sheep is rather tanky with that Ag Scepter, still just not enough to survive the wrath of that duo. So CNB, they'll basically trade a tower deny for a kill onto the Ancient Apparition. I guess not too shabby. Shiva's is on the way for Klotz on that Doom. He does have the Mystic Staff already, so there you go. That's a nice DPS item. Get him some more armor as well. And overall, just a solid item pickup for the Doombringer. CNB will move into the Roche Pit. And I don't know. This is a little bit risky. I think eHug will be privy to it. There's no minus armor on the side of CNB, so this won't be a particularly fast Roche. And yeah, they're in a position to contest. Jigglebilly's got a haste rune on. They're just not going to be able to do it fast enough. Cakes, he gets doomed as he comes up to the high ground. He will fall. A Big Impale will connect with 3. Pandago falls. Jigglebilly in big trouble as well. What a disaster for eHug. They probably could have contested that, but they weren't quite confident that Roche was going to be under attack. They did get a kill on Nyx Assassin. Jiggle was able to cull him before he died, but wow. They were sort of like, maybe they're in the Roche Pit, maybe not. There's actually a big Ice Blast. Disruptor, I think he's going to shatter here. Tavo may shatter as well. This could be a double kill coming out for the Ancient Apparition. There you go. Oh, wow. Centaur and Disruptor both fall. Now it's just Doom and Slark in the pit. And again, same story, no minus armor. Roche is not falling quickly, and eHug may still yet be able to contest. Justin could. No, he can't haunt in. He's already used it, but he could just charge in here. They won't go for it, which I think is a minor misplay.
Has fallen to the deity.
Well, very interesting. CNB all of a sudden with a burst of momentum, and they will close this experience graph now just about zeroed out. And gold still the way of eHug, but a lot of that is in the towers. There is only one outer tower remaining for CNB. It is the tier 2 in the mid, and they do have all 3 of their tier 2s remaining. So it is a 2-tower disparity, 5-3 for eHug. They will do a 3-man smoke in the top lane, though, and looking for a kill perhaps onto Klotz. Are you back in this game, Hippie?
I am indeed.
Okay, very cool.
Oh, here they go.
Yeah, Klotz in big trouble here. Cakes will blink forward. There's the lasso. Pulls him over the tree line. And Jiggle will be there with that Berserker's Call. The Hex as well. See you later, Klotz. He doesn't even have the Doom Ultimate if he wanted to use it. And he will get decapitated.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
And the Doom Shiva's Guard, I get that he wants to be really tanky, but I'm just not sure that the Slark has the damage output to make just a tanky Doom able to work. I think you need a little bit more damage. Tavo now in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down easy.
Yep, he does have a Blade Mail, which is a nice item to pick up on the Centaur, but won't be even close to enough to keep him alive. And I did actually misspeak about towers. The tier 1 in the mid is still standing for the Radiant side, so it is 5-2 in favor of eHug. That was my mistake, but we'll see another team fight break out here. Doom will actually buy back. Static Storm comes down as Nyx Assassin gets picked off. He'll buy back as well. It looks like Disruptor's in big trouble. Yep, he'll fall, and they'll also get that kill on the Slark. He does have the Aegis, so he'll be coming back to life. Nyx rejoining the fray, but yeah, now things looking a little bit rough for CNB. We see that lead that eHug has really starting to shine. Slark using that Shadow Blade will be enough to keep him alive. And eHug just with a huge burst of momentum there. They get, they get the Aegis, they kill 4 heroes. No, they killed yeah, 4 heroes and the Aegis, and then 2 buybacks with no counter kills. And it looks like they'll be able to grab the tier 2 tower mid. So that was just a huge exchange. Doom ultimate comes out onto Jiggle Billy. Will they have the follow-up to get the kill? They very well may, as Nyx Assassin goes in on him. And they'll get the kill on Shadow Shaman as well. So maybe those buybacks were worth it now as they get a couple of recovery kills. And they will defend that tier 2 tower. So I guess I did speak a little bit too soon. Sheep tries to pour it out. That's not happening. Make it 3 counter kills. And we're pretty much right back to where we started.
Yeah, it looks like they'll probably finally pick up this tier 1 tower in the mid, so they'll get a little bit of an influx of gold right there, but I don't know how they're going to deal with this Spectre at this point. She's about to have a heart in 1200 gold, which isn't really that much when you take into account that she has a Radiance. She'll be farming that very, very quickly. And looks like maybe they'll try to go for this tier 2 as well, which they might be able to get. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of a lag spike. I hope I don't drop again.
Yeah, there is a glyph available for the Radiant here, but wow, that's a Scotty out on Slark. So all of a sudden, he's got that huge item pickup, and they will indeed secure that tier 2 tower kill. eHug, they did so well in that team fight, but once their cooldowns were unavailable, even the Mass Serpent Wards were up, but weren't used there before the Shadow Shaman fell. So overstaying their welcome a little bit, and they could have just forced those buybacks and then backed out. Since the changes to buyback, oh yeah, that's, did you drop again?
I did.
Well, 3 of the eHug players dropped as well, so it looks like we got a good choice of servers here. Slark DCing as well. This is actually kind of bad news, but yeah, with the changes to buyback in 6.79, now if you can force the buybacks and then just retreat and not let them get any counter kills, that's almost more valuable because, of course, you can't get unreliable gold, so you can't get gold from creeps. You don't get that static gold gain while your little buyback thing is still that debuff, whatever you want to call it. So if eHug had just retreated right there instead of trying to get greedy and go for that tier 2 tower, that would have been a huge victory. But instead they hang around, they not only make those buybacks worth it, but then they also lose 3 heroes of their own, which translates to 2 tower kills for CNB. And also their mid towers. Of all the tier 2s to be taken out, that mid tier 2, pretty valuable, as well as that tier 1 on Radiant's side. You really need those access points to try and contest Roche. And that's a multifaceted swing of momentum for CNB. And,
Absolutely.
eHug just get punished for that bit of greed there.
Are they paused? Can I monologue on buybacks for a sec?
Yes, we are paused. There's still 4 players.
Feel free to cut me off if they unpause before I get back in. But just going again on the whole, buybacks being much more punishing thing. The punishment for buying back lasts for so much longer than just that initial you can't farm thing, because obviously in your next fight, if you had to buy back almost immediately, that's an extra 30-40 seconds next time you're out of the game. And that, if you don't get that burned off at an opportune time, like if you lose that when they can't capitalize on it, when you die but they also lose a lot of heroes they can't really push in, that's fine. But if you get picked off alone after you've bought back, even if it was 4 minutes ago, you're still punished for having used that buyback. And people forget about that very quickly as soon as they're able to farm gold again. They're like, okay, well, the buyback's fine. I didn't lose that much off of it. But you can just be absolutely crushed by that extra death time later in the game.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Sorry, I was just reporting to the Starladder guys. Apparently, the Liquid eHug lobby is up already, but obviously that won't get started until eHug CNB is finished. So just giving them an update on the server issues in this game. Looks like Slark was able to reconnect, but he's the only one so far. Still 3 members of eHug are DC'd. So this is just, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Volvo has driven a car into the server warehouse or something, but it seems every time I've had to cast Starladder over the past maybe 2 weeks, we've had some sort of an issue with either disconnects in-game or in between games. Steam goes down or the Dota network goes down. It's been very consistent server issues. And I don't know, man. Come on, Valve, get it together, man.
This reminds me why I'm so happy that our LANs are actually hosted on LAN, unlike StarCraft 2 LANs, which are, they're online, but if BattleNet screws up, you can resume from a replay, and there's all these cool features. No, just host it on LAN, please. For God's sake, Blizzard, use LAN.
Yeah. Apparently,
was there like a big event where there was some debacle because a big game got disconnected and everyone was chanting like "We want LAN" in the middle of a tournament?
Yeah, apparently on Dota TV, like since the Chinese caster disconnected and reconnected, now we're on the same channel on Dota TV. So as they're saying, I'm getting owned by the Chinese caster who's yelling louder than I am. So if you're watching on Dota TV, it's me, and then I don't know if you're still in the channel either, but apparently there's a Chinese caster going hard. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's
unfortunately though,
legendary.
I'm not quite sure how to fix that one. That's
I'm sure you do.
yeah, that might be on the Valve side of things. So sorry about that, guys. All I can say is if you're having conflicting channels on Dota TV, come over to the Twitch channel. It is Starladder or Dota Starladder _EN on Twitch.tv. It's probably on the main page of Twitch as well. I can troubleshoot Twitch, I can troubleshoot XSplit, but Dota TV, there is very little I can do on my end to get that fixed. But so yeah, it looks like one of the admins just said, "What happened, guys? We've got a 10-minute limit for pauses, but it looks like the eHug players can't reconnect, so we may be reloading into a game or." They're spouting out some options here. Were you able to reconnect yet?
No.
No, you're in the same.
I've tried console. I've tried button. Nothing's working.
Okay,
So I feel their pain.
yeah, you guys are probably in the same issue. I have a good feeling we're gonna have to do a rehost and load from a save here.
At least there's not a lot of heroes that could theoretically get screwed up by that. You know, we don't have
Yeah.
a lone druid, for instance.
Yeah, Lone Druid is the biggest culprit by far. With the bear, anyone that can summon units, if there were like units out, and sometimes the neutrals get a little bit bugged out.
Just
and stuff,
birds,
but
I think, bug out some.
yeah. Basically, anyone who has some sort of a summon tends to have some kind of an issue, or at least potential for an issue. So, yeah, it's probably I would guess it seems to have something to do with like one of the ingest servers on the East Coast because CNB are South American and Sark was able to reconnect, and you're located in a similar area to where the eHug guys are. So it's probably got something to do with that New York, Philadelphia server, wherever it's actually located.
Yeah, it might just be a routing issue. We might be trying to route through the same pipe.
Yep. So sorry about that, guys. The next match was scheduled to start in just about 3 minutes. Of course, it is Liquid versus eHug, but needless to say, that will be a little bit delayed as this match is, well, actually pretty darn close. If we take a look at the gold graph, it's about a 2,500 gold lead in favor of eHug. They are still one tower ahead. And experience down to 2,500, 26 to 22 at the 28-minute mark. We've got a pretty darn even game on our hands. I think eHug are still in the slightly better position, just with their team and itemization between the Scepters out on AA as well as the Rasta, and also just Spectre being Spectre with the Radiance. But still, CNB, they're in it to win it, and they still have some hope in this game. So we'll wait for the executive call from Starladder here. It's like Sheep was able to watch a live game, but still can't rejoin. Oh, boy. I suggested a reload. I'll take point here.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah, you know, someone's got to step up. Someone's got to make the hard call, and I'm not in a position to actually drop the gavel, but I can at least give my 2 cents. Someone says... someone suggested try totally closing Steam and then reopening. Have you tried that already?
I closed Dota. I can try doing all of Steam here. I'll be the guinea pig for that.
Yeah. Someone in chat said it.
If that works for me, you can tell the eHug boys.
Yeah, I suggested it already. I mean, it can't hurt. If they're already disconnected, it doesn't get much worse than this anyway. So what are you gonna do? So, Hippie, what's the good word, man? How's your life as a caster?
Hectic.
What's good?
You know, I go from doing things in the early U.S. afternoon to joining What Is Hip for Southeast Asian games and being up until all hours of the night. Of life of being a mercenary caster, you know, it's like Demon's World, but for casting. You play whenever you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. It's a little bit chaotic for sure. My last few days have been a little bit easier. Now that Starladder Korea and China are done, it's a lot easier here. But those days where we had all 4 in the same like 24-hour period, Jesus, dude, there was a good week stretch where things were a little stressful here at the BTS house, because not only are you casting a lot? But it's at least the way my room is positioned. I can hear the casters when they're using the upstairs studio from my bedroom. So even though you're sleeping, you still kind of get woken up when something really exciting happens. It's just like you never get a break from Dota. And Dota's a great game, but there are only so many hours of Dota I can digest before I'm like, guys, anybody want to play some Scrabble? Anybody want to
hope that you go to sleep hoping nobody picks Enigma so you can actually sleep through an entire night?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. You know that you're doing too much Dota when you start having Dota dreams. I had some. There was one night right after that one day of a bunch of angry Reddit threads. I had some bad dreams where like I was getting into physical altercations with like people were beating me up because I was so bad at camera. It's like I couldn't get a break. I was getting beat up while I was awake, and I'm beating myself up in my dreams. Ugh.
You could have PTSD from Reddit threads.
That was a rough 24 hours, I will say. I just woke up and like, oh man, those are some of the worst dreams I've ever had. And the dreams were not just like, it was like someone was just like, man, you really suck at camera. And I was just like, I know, I'm trying to get better. And they were like, no, that's not enough. And then they challenged me to a fight, and I'm not really a good fighter. So then I just got beat up. It was like a double whammy. First they yelled at me, and then they just pummeled me.
Dude, we could do a training montage. I got like 12 years of martial arts, man. I could teach you. It'll be great.
I mean, I was just like, afterwards I was thinking to myself, who dreams about getting beat up? Usually people are dreaming about beating other people up. You're the hero in your dream, Like, those are some pretty twisted dreams.
You were so injured by these Reddit threads that not even in your own imagination could you be the hero for 24 hours. This restart Steam thing does not appear to be helping me. I don't know if it'll help eHug.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I see the admins in the private chat here suggesting that we're going to reload from the 29-minute. And luckily, the pause came at 29:01, so we won't even really lose too much of our valuable data. And
just pray for no bugs.
Yeah, pray for. But an issue that the match admin already left the game. I don't know if he can reload if he left the game. Oh, that is. Oh. That's a sticky wicket right there. I don't know what we do in that.
I mean if in a game that's, you've got a farming Spectre, so you know that eHug are in a pretty reasonable position from just having a well farmed Spectre. But at the same time, the game is far from over. So I mean, it's not like you can give anyone a def win.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that's close enough that I don't think you could def win anyone. If eHug hadn't been wiped right there, I still don't think that they would have been far enough ahead to say, okay, without a shadow of a doubt, CNB deserved the loss. It's way too close, and it would be a shame to have to just remake this game here. We're 29 minutes in. Ugh, that's hard to emulate.
Maybe since it's a tiebreaker situation, so you've got 2 Liquid games coming up next, right? I mean, this is obviously this has no effect because I'm not an admin, but my method, if there's no way to continue this game, you null the results. You have to do like a redraft later, but you play both the Liquid games, and if Liquid wins both, they move on anyway.
That's actually...
And then you just move on in the tiebreaker bracket otherwise, because the 3-way tiebreaker just goes 1-1-1 until somebody wins 2.
Okay, I see what you mean. So if Liquid wins the next 2 games, then this match doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's meaningless anyway. I mean, okay. I've seen plenty of 3-way tiebreakers back when Brood War was a thing, because they happened in Star League. Obviously, they weren't common, but I watched a lot of Brood War.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's actually a really good point. And let's see here.
Obviously, the reload is the best by far because you want to finish this game out if at all possible.
Yeah. Oh, Pandago actually just reconnected.
Yeah, all right, I'm trying again.
So, yeah, now we're just waiting for Batrider. It looks like we may have gotten a stroke of luck here. I'm not sure. Maybe this was just a case of patience makes perfect, but, wow. Wow, yeah, Batrider just reconnected.
Hey, I'm in.
Okay. Woohoo! I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna put a smiley face. This warrants just a good old-fashioned smiley. Oh, God. Just keep clicking reconnect, it works. Alright, so we will resume. Last thing we saw right before this pause, eHug had a really convincing fight. CNB did burn a couple of buybacks. eHug stuck around too long in the mid trying to finish off this tier 2 tower. They got wiped up, they lost 3 heroes, and all of a sudden we've got an even game on our hands. About a 2,500 gold and experience lead for eHug, but they are holding on to a 1 tower advantage. So this is a strikingly even game. CNB did burn buybacks on Doom and Nyx Assassin to make that possible. But still, very interesting. Doom with 3,200 gold in the bank. Let's look at current gold just to reacquaint ourselves with what's happening here. Jiggle Billy, he grabbed himself the Ag Scepter and has about 2,600 gold in savings right now. And who else is pretty rich? Oh, right, Spectre. 2,700 gold. Last thing he grabbed was the Radiance. He has the recipe for the heart already on the courier, so just waiting for that Reaver, and he's pretty darn close. And I think that's
Slark has a Scotty, man. That's a big deal. And, you know, the Scotty Slark, along with the Doom against a single-core lineup, this is definitely still a very precarious situation for eHug because of just how much they're going to rely on that Spectre. If she gets picked in any way, and you have some pretty great initiation potential thanks to the Centaur, thanks to the Nyx, thanks to even the Slark with a Shadow Blade if they're not careful. I would almost maybe say that after Doom gets what looks like he's going for a heart to just tank up a little bit more, get himself some damage. Obviously, you're going to want an AC at some point. I think maybe in the very late game, you just go for a blink so you can blink on the Spectre.
That's definitely not a bad idea. But CNB, they'll get aggressive. They'll do a 5-man smoke from their base. They moved through the mid lane, and they will go around the bottom rune into the dire jungle, and they will find eHug. All 5 members of eHug are grouped up about the jungle, and oh no, Cakes is going to venture over as he goes for this camp. He gets blinked upon. He's in trouble. Cakes will be the first to fall. They burn the Doom ultimate as well. Kinetic Field comes out. A ultimate flies, connects with just 2 heroes, it looks like, and that could be where this fight will end. Maybe not. eHug get a little bit aggressive here. Jiggle Billy hops forward. He'll finish off the Disruptor. Nyx very low as well. Now Jiggle Billy in a little bit of trouble. Where's the team support? Double Edge comes out, and they'll also get the kill onto Pandago. Now Justin's in trouble as Slark initiates. So far it is a 2 for 3. Justin will Spectral into the trees, and I think he'll survive at least for now. Yep, we'll use that to buy valuable time. So a 2 for 3. Not too bad, given that CNB were the initiators there. Still not ideal for eHug. Ancient Apparition is alive. He'll have that ultimate coming up in just a second here. This is also a level 3 ultimate with a Scepter. And just barely connects with the Centaur, but off the mark with the other 2. They will still lose this bottom tier 2 tower.
Yeah, that's very, very good for CNB, especially since I feel like that Doom was kind of wasted. Again, that's the second time that I can point out that I've noticed Clots burning Doom on a target that's pretty much assured to die anyway. I mean, I get the Batrider is indeed a big target, but when you've got him that heavily locked down, you've got the Chain Stun available, you've got all that damage coming out, you should be saving that for someone like the Spectre or even the Axe. I don't know. Although it doesn't disable counter helix, so it's really not that huge against Axe.
I think it does.
It just doesn't disable the animation? Because I've seen him helixing.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
I've watched the animation while he's doomed. I was questioning that earlier in this game, and I've been paying attention and watching the axe, and I see him spin while he's doomed.
I had the same question, and the first time I looked, maybe it was just bad RNG, he didn't get any helixes, but I saw that like on his little graphic, it silences the counter helix, so I thought that disabled it. But
it's possible that it's just the animation playing, or it's also possible that maybe attacks that are launched before the doom takes effect will still trigger the helix.
Oh, okay.
It might be one of those abilities that checks at the attack as opposed to at the attack impact.
That's one of those really specific mechanics of how does counter helix interact with Doom.
Well, it's like wind run. You know, people are confused. How did you kill me with a physical attack when I'm wind running? And it's because if you trigger the wind run after the attack has been launched, it doesn't proc the evade. It's on attack, not on attack impact, that it checks whether or not you have wind run.
Right.
I think those are the JAS commands, on attack impact.
Right, yeah. So that's a really good example of how just mechanics that seem really straightforward can actually have these little odd nuances that make it a little bit more convoluted. So we'll try and keep a watchful eye for it in the next team fight here. But at this point, counter helix is a little bit less scary than it was. Still does a lot of damage if you're all clumped up, but actually, 200 still a good bit. But one of those abilities that kind of falls off as the game continues. Heart of Tarrasque is now up on the Spectre, which they didn't have for that last fight. And Shadow Shaman, he didn't go for the fast Ags. He did go for the point booster first. Then he transitioned into a Blink Dagger. Of course, has Arcane Boots up and will now be looking to finish up that Ags once farm allows. On the dire side of things, Doom, oh boy, now he is one tanky mother. He's got 29 armor with the Shiva's, Mech, and Ring of Aquila. And of course, with that heart, he's now got a big hit point pool of about 3,200. He is a meat stick.
Wasn't it at MLG Columbus you had Eternal Envy with the 4,000 health, like 50 armor Doom walking around that was completely unkillable and in the end completely irrelevant?
I think so. That sounds vaguely familiar.
You can make your Doom as unkillable as you want, but you got to have some damage output. And actually, I think the heart with the pack lead Aurora is perfectly okay for him, especially since Slark, a lot of his damage is going to be coming from the agility he steals, and of course, since that's base damage, since it's from stats, the pack lead Aurora will have a much more amplified effect on that than it would on any sort of plus damage item. But I really want that Doom to get an AC, because I really think they need the physical armor, not only against the Spectre, but against the counter Helix. You were mentioning, it's still 200 damage, but that is physical. You can scale it down if you just get those armor auras going. And getting the extra attack speed for that Slark would be huge as well.
Agreed. And Axe will go for a BKB as his third item, following Blink and Ag Scepter. An interesting choice. Usually BKB against Doom is not the best, as Doom will go through it, but plenty of other abilities that BKB will be effective against. So I see where Jigglebilly's coming from, and he just wants to be that frontliner. He wants to hop in and not worry about getting stunned by the Nyx or getting silenced by the Disruptor. Disruptor is not really that close to an Ag Scepter. He's got himself the point booster and Ogre Club, about 1,500 gold to go, so eventually he might be able to stop that Axe from BKBing, but there will be at least a good window here where Axe can use that BKB freely. Roche now will be on a very long timer, just about the longest Roche possible, maybe a few seconds short, so it will be about another minute and 10 seconds or so before Roche comes back up, and he will very well become the focal point of this match. I think both teams could really use the Aegis, and whoever secures next Roche will definitely be in a good position. Now that the gold lead is totally zeroed out, and experience has actually gone the way of CNB, they are slowly but surely turning this game around.
Yeah, I think an Aegis on that Spectre could actually very nearly end the game, because she's so hard to bring down in the first place, and she's such an effective carry at this stage of the game. When you have Heart Drum Radiance, that's all you need to be terrifying in team fights. Obviously, when she gets a little more, when she gets a Butterfly or whatever she decides to go for next, it'll be worse. But for now, I really do think that Aegis could help them crack high ground, and that's all eHug needs is one Rax, and this game just spirals out of control for CNB.
Well, according to Twitch chat, to counter Helix does work through Doom.
Okay, thank you, Twitch chat. So, we do appreciate you guys.
Yep, there you
thank
go.
You.
We'll still keep
it's tabs on it. It's going to be a
on
Yasha, so it's going to be a Manta style for Justin.
I think that's a smart choice here. Get him a little bit of movement speed, tank up, pretty standard on Spectre.
Yeah. One, just having extra Radiance illusions to throw around, extra illusions desolating as you throw them through the team fight.
Yep. It looks like Cakes will be working towards a Linken's. He does have an ultimate orb in the inventory. Whoa, 4DR. He's looking for Cakes, but Cakes will scoot back to safety or not. The rest of the team inbound. Another big Static Storm kinetic field. Pandago and Cakes in big trouble. Both of them will fall. And Axe in some trouble as well. He'll get picked off.
Got rid of Justin.
Oh, he gets glimpsed back. Oh no. And now Sheep. He'll get doomed. This is bad for eHug. This is more than bad.
Radiant's middle tower is
or Doom, maybe overcommitting. Nope, he'll finish off the AA. And now Justin, he'll port back, but oh, he gets connected by the pounce. Buyback coming from the AA. Justin will survive. Maybe they can turn this around. AA ult connects on both. That's the end of Slark. Now Doom, he's got no ultimate available. They'll be able to finish him off. A huge overcommitment from CNB. That's been the story of this game. One team gets an edge, and then they way overcommit. I mean, I know you want to kill the Ancient Apparition, but Doom literally dives to the well, past the tier 4 towers. AA buys back, and boy, do they punish him.
Absolutely, and the Spectre had the TP scroll ready. That was one of the big things there, was that sometimes when you get to late game Spectre, they'll forego the TP scroll. They know they can get to any team fight they want to because of the Haunt. But with the Disruptor in the game, you have to have as many different methods of moving around the map as possible, because you know your first one is never reliable if he's using that glimpse for you. So that was really, really good. I mean, Justin got back just when he needed to, just when they were overcommitting on the dive. He knew that if he TP'd back before they actually entered the base, he probably wouldn't get a lot done. He just zoned them out. After the dive, they were able to get a huge punish on that Doom and the Slark.
Wow, they're going to get an easy kill on the Nyx here in the mid lane.
Sorry for blurting something out in the middle of that fight. I thought it was wrapping up, but Doom has an Eagle Song. Is he going Ethereal Blade?
I guess. I mean,
you could go Butterfly Doom for the evasion, but why wouldn't you just get a Halberd? Especially against a Spectre, you know she wouldn't be building B. Actually, now that I think about it, I could really like a Halberd coming out from CNB.
Yeah, I'm still trying to make sense of that Eagle Song. I don't really see the synergy.
I mean, well, you have a lot of magic damage, don't get me wrong, but I just don't. It's weird. It's weird. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, they have magic damage, but it's not like they have a Dagon or something. You know, if they had a Dagon or somebody who could do like a Tinker or something, where they could just shotgun somebody down almost, I could see the E-Blade. But they
Well,
don't
I
have.
guess with the Exalt maybe from Disruptor now, if you E-blade someone inside that, they just die. And I mean, you have the double edge, you have the hoof stomp, so I'm not gonna say your magic damage is bad. It's just like it's such an awkward hero to go for it on, especially because you're holding on to that pack leader's aura. You actually have pretty solid physical damage for now.
Yep.
So you want to be able to swing at people too. You got to remember the downside of that item, or maybe they just want it. So maybe he wants it defensively, so he can FP.
Here we go. The initiation onto Roche. The AA ultimate to start it off. There's the Hunt. They'll go ahead and grab Disruptor with the lasso, but the BKB Slark, he's going to go in. He'll chase down Sheep. This is a fight that's breaking out in multiple places at once. Looks like Tabo will get caught by the BKB Jiggle Billy. They finish off the Disruptor. It is a 2-0 going the way of eHug, but Shadow Shaman going blow for blow with Slark. He will use the Shackle, and he does survive. Ultimate from Doom comes out onto Axe, but it's just not enough. Meanwhile, we see Cakes chasing down Clocks, and that will be a kill. That's a 4-0. eHug just initiating that so well.
This is high ground if they want it. This is Roche on high ground. This is game.
Yeah, they have absolutely no
60 seconds
buybacks. They'll just tap out. That's it. GG. Wow. It all comes down to Roche. Well done by eHug, though. That was a big AA ult to start that off. And, of course, the Haunt in. They were spread out enough that Radiance was doing a lot of damage. And the follow-up was just there. Wow.
Yeah, and I remember saying about the 15, 18-minute mark, when you have the AA ult, a big AA ult followed by a big Radiance Haunt is just going to clear an entire team fight. And that was pretty deciding, I feel like.
Yeah, so, all right, a close game, but eHug do squeak out a win here. And CNB, they played well. It was, kind of gave them a run for their money. It looked like they might be able to turn things around. But in the end, eHug come out victorious. So that was game 1 of 3 today, and I am Zyori, joined by Hippie. Chris, thank you for joining me for our first game, and for the next 2, I will have PPD with me. The schedule going forward, it will be Liquid versus eHug up next, and then after that, I guess, if need be, will be Liquid versus CNB. But like you pointed out, if eHug wins this next game over Liquid, it doesn't matter what happens in the last game. I think, yeah, that's true. I have trouble working out the round robins in my head. But this next game will get started pretty quickly. Chris, where can people find you?
Anyone can find me on Twitter at HippieCasting. Very simple. If you have feedback about my casting, you can actually email me at hippiecasting@gmail.com. I'm taking the base kipper out for that. I know he does that. And so, yeah, feel free to drop me a line if you like the cast, if you got something you want me to improve on. I always appreciate feedback. And thank you, Andrew, for bringing me on. I always enjoy casting with you, my friend. Sometimes it's been far too long since I get a game in with you.
Certainly, man. Certainly has. So, all right, we'll wrap this up. We'll have a short break, and then the next game, Liquid versus eHug, will be underway. I saw Dota Demon in chat, and he will be standing in for Liquid. So he was talking some smack. I missed an Axe BKB there, so I'll try and stop sniffing around and pay closer attention in this game. Demon, all eyes are on you. You crazy,
used it to dodge a
crazy
glimpse.
dog.
It wasn't that critical.
Not too bad. So, all right, take care, Chris. We'll be back with PPD and Liquid versus eHug.